After all we've been through, what makes her think that I can make the right decision?
Oh.
Pitting us against one another at a time like this, that's exactly what my mother would do. I feel trapped, like a fish in a barrel.
I won't deny that feeling, putting that out there, but I will always be a huge advocate that there is no such thing as like the right decision. I also actually really love how they put that in quotes already, because I will talk to ages and ages. Think of it like a TED Talk, right? Like, I am a huge advocate that there is no such thing as like a right decision. That doesn't mean that we don't talk about it that way. Fair. What happens when we think that way is we are telling ourselves there's only two choices, the right decision and the wrong decision. And then we put pressure on ourselves to where we have to make the right decision. And when we think that there are only two options, right or wrong decisions, we are ignoring the fact that the world is not that black and white. There are more choices than that. And so we stop ourselves from seeing the gray area, from seeing the other choices that are possible. When we have that type of pressure, we might get into like doom scrolling or a ton of research because there's so much pressure to make the right choice, but we don't know what that is. And then when we make any type of decision, we are always making a decision based off of all of the information that we have on at the time. We don't usually try to like screw ourselves over, but then when we see the consequences of that choice, we then look at the consequences and we decide whether we like the consequences or not. If we like the consequences, we'll label that decision as the right decision. If we don't like the consequences, we will label that decision as the wrong decision. When we label a decision as the wrong decision, it's like we're basically saying that somehow we should have known better, like as though we could see into the future and say, ooh, this was the wrong decision and I'm going to make it anyways, which doesn't make sense. We can't see into the future. And again, we always make decisions based off of all the information that we have at the time. And so when we made the decision, that felt like the best choice. We didn't know any better. When we are also telling ourselves something is the wrong choice, we're assuming that the other choice, again, assuming that there's only one other choice, we assume that the other choice would be better. That the choice, if we had made the other choice, that the consequence of that choice would be better. And that's not always the case, and we can't ever know that. So it's all of these things that make me say there is no such thing as like a right choice or a wrong choice. But yet that's how we talk about it, and then we shame, blame, and guilt ourselves as though we should know all of these things.